right, so this is a Q&A. I see we have somebody with the microphone, so let's get some Q&A going.
All right, so I'm Michael from CrypticGames.com, and I was wondering if there would be some sort of safe zone system for trading.
Safe zone system for trading?
No.
Don't count on it.
Sink or swim, baby. That's the way this game goes.
Trade games with, or trade items with your buddies.
You want to trade? Go find a spot in the woods, throw your stuff on the floor, and let them pick it up. And make sure there's nobody with their sights on you.
No trade windows or anything?
Not currently.
Earlier,
yeah, we're still in discussion over.
Trade
as
windows
right now,
are kind of that's more of a possibility. It allows you to kind of negotiate with somebody, and they give you stuff, you give them stuff. You know, it allows for a fair trade. That's doable, but as far as like a safe zone where you're not in any danger of being attacked, that's not what we're going for, really. So.
You can also offer to trade a bullet for everything they have in their backpack, I guess, if you wanted to.
Couple bullets. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, for the early access, will players receive any exclusive in-game items?
There's been discussion on that. We haven't honed in on the exact item if we're going to do one just yet, but that discussion happens daily here.
All right, and that's coming in 4 weeks?
I don't have the exact release date just yet, but it's coming very soon.
All right.
How many items are going to be within the backpack that you guys have? Like, if you're carrying around, how many items are you allowed to have?
We're going to have different size containers, right? So you may be able to find a container that is only 2 slots or something, right? You can't fit much in there. Everything is going to be about the gear that you find, right? Whether it's survival items like food, water, or it's even going to be your containers. So, I mean, you will have to look for and find the better gear. And, you know, if you end up having some pink backpack, but it has 1 more slot than the one that you have now, you know, it might be worth trading up for that.
Now everybody's going to want a pink backpack.
I would love a pink backpack.
Make yourself a target.
I got one more question. So, like, you guys are talking about animals and what sort of animals you would like to put in the game. Would it be possible to have an animal that eats a zombie and then that becomes a zombie itself?
It's
goes after you.
It's very doable. It's something that we are actually discussing. It's like, hey, we want to make zombie animals and stuff like that. So with the current tech that we have, we can actually do something like that. And yeah, possibly.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
And like kind of have them look like partially undead, where like part of the throat is off and stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
We love the idea of having other things besides humans be zombies. You know, that's just, that adds like a switch to it, because then we can really change behavior on the zombie. It's like if it was a dog or a wolf or a deer zombie.
Or a squirrel.
Yeah, it's like, man, we
or
can
a bird.
really... Yeah, a squirrel.
A zombie
rabbit
bird.
zombie, yeah.
You know, on that note, the circle of life does exist within our game. So zombies will eat deer. You know, there's wolves out there, and you know they'll kind of like munch on each other, for lack of a better way to say it. But
Can you skin the...
you can harvest meat from animals. We have traps you can craft, small game traps, water dew collectors. There's a lot of survival type stuff you can craft in the game.
Will animals be tameable?
Ooh, that's a good question. Everybody wants a pet, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
A horse?
And from the looks of our wolf, I want 2 of them. Yeah, well, there's a lot of talk on pets. Haven't gotten to that.
All right.
To a single position yet on that.
And will there be like weather effects and like hypothermia?
Correct. Yeah.
Diseases?
Weather, cold, hot. We're even talking about things like any sort of possible natural disasters, like maybe tornadoes or torrential rainfalls. That actually affect the way you're playing the game.
Earthquakes.
Earthquakes.
Bring down the world.
Yeah. I just like SimCity type disasters. I have a UFO.
Godzilla.
As if a zombie apocalypse wasn't a bad enough disaster, we have to also throw other stuff at them.
Trolling the players.
Yeah, exactly.
The devs, right.
Here's an earthquake.
Will there be any like government type of AI players, like say army or military, coming around? Or is it just random survivors in a wasteland?
So on the initial release, Probably not, but you gotta remember we're SOE and we build MMOs. We expand on them quite well. That's just the way we do business here. So to see a militia come into effect over the course of time, maybe as we do some sort of expansion to the game, yeah, that's totally feasible.
Yeah, we're not against it at all. So.
We've actually had a lot of internal discussions about, you know, how much there is outside, like in the world, as far as governmental agencies, and it all goes into how we build the lore and the overarching storyline of the game. It's a really good point.
Yeah.
And we are going to have airdrops. That's been said before. So it's like, well, somebody's delivering these airdrops, right? But
Yeah, we talked about even having airdrops connected to mobile apps. So that's a possibility in the future.
Will there be vehicles?
There are vehicles.
no,
Sorry.
Drop-
we hate vehicles. Oh,
No
drop.
vehicles.
As in like a helicopter or something, you mean?
Like a car or tank or bus or something? And
So there,
like,
so there's currently the Jeep, and what we're doing is we're using that as our rubber stamp for the rest of our drivable vehicles. So once we got that under control, that vehicle carries 4 people. You can drive around with 4 users and have a good old time with it. And once we feel that thing is tuned and tight, then we have a core system to build off of for the rest of our vehicles. Then we'll go ahead and we'll kind of spread that out. And at some point we'll talk about maybe going through the air, but that's for future.
I mean, the vehicles are not going to probably be something easily obtainable. It's going to be a lot of crafting comes into play, maybe working with other people, a lot of trade. You know, it's going to be a very big effort from what we've talking about internally to actually get a vehicle up and running and being able to use it.
And maintain it.
Right.
So they'll like break down.
Yeah, and I mentioned in our last interview, you can grow corn in our game, so ethanol will play a good portion of making fuel for your vehicle, and maybe moonshine. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
That's a trade-off right there. Do I want to drive today or do I want to drink?
Or both.
Or both.
Would it be possible for you guys to put up a list of the guns and stuff that you have in the game currently?
There's going to be a game guide on Steam when we launch,
All right.
and it'll show you some of the basic weapons, and there might be a few things that you can craft that you're going to discover. You know, we got to keep a little discovery there for you guys.
All right.
Can you, like, say, grab a bunch of herbs, mix them together, and make like a healing potion or healing drink for yourself, for your character?
The system is definitely flexible for us to do that. You know, we don't have that exact recipe, of course, but we can add something like that real simple.
We have a pretty extensible recipe system. Right now we have bandages that you can make, so...
And then you can take the bandages, mix them up with like some saline and make a first aid kit type stuff. So.
And you mix salt with water to make the saline. So there's multiple levels of crafting there.
Yep.
And as far as like lighting campfires, could you take like a Molotov cocktail and throw it at a campfire, and then it just continues to burn?
Yeah, with the current campfire, you grab a couple logs, you craft your campfire, place it on the ground, whack it with a torch, it lights up. Yeah, who knows? Maybe if there's some sort of a throwable fire container, there's no reason why that couldn't affect it also. But you probably wouldn't want to waste that right on a campfire. I just use my torch.
Yeah, that's true.
He really wants to light the campfire, man. Don't.
All right, fine.
You can just use moonshine and put it in a bottle.
Moonshine.
There you go.
Toss it out of the Jeep while you're driving by.
Tough decisions. Drink it or light it on fire.
And how big is the map going to be? Is it going to be kind of like one world, and then over time you're going to create another world that you can pass to?
It'll be seamless over time. Right now, they're about the size of some of the larger planet-side 2 maps, if I'm correct in saying that.
Right.
And over time, it'll just grow.
Yeah, we'll expand on it.
Come on, you guys.
Will there be care drops with like alarms on them?
Say that again?
Can you drop a care drop with an alarm on it? Draw some zombies in?
Why not? It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Rig up some explosives?
Yes,
Like a
yeah.
trap.
See, I like
Yeah.
the way this guy thinks.
Yeah.
I mentioned something very similar in a design meeting that we had about calling in an airdrop that looked like it was goods, but was actually C4. And some people like that idea.
Yeah, trolling drops. I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds completely safe dropping a lot of C4 out of an airplane.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a chance it'll blow up mid-flight.
Or
Whole plane goes
Well, you need a
down.
special charge for C4, actually.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of some soldiers chewing on C4 like gum
Wow.
and getting scolded by the sergeant. It's bizarre.
What?
Steve
No, I'm
speaks
not
from
kidding. I'm not
experience.
kidding.
Why would you do?
Hey man,
Next
gotta
question.
chew on something that's available.
Yeah. Just chewing
Let's
some
do 'em two
C4.
together.
I don't mind.
How many players can be on one server at a time? Like, say, are you guys gonna have multiple servers over like thousands of servers across the world or something?
Huh?
We have a scalable server architecture basically. As soon as we get to a point where our system is getting a max load, which actually our max load is pretty high if I should say so myself, then we'll fire up more servers. It's based on the user base. It grows and shrinks as time.
And is it gonna be like 24-hour gameplay
Oh yeah,
anytime?
that's what we do here.
That's perfect.
For maintenance.
Yeah, except for we gotta have
Maintenance.
Will there be a friend system in it?
Yeah, you know what's
absolutely.
Friend, like a
One
friend
hangout?
chat and like their display name pops up on your screen so you can go find them on your map or something.
Yeah, all those systems exist in the client-side architecture, so we can do all that. It doesn't matter how we're going to present it to the player.
All right.
You're free to collaborate.
You're doing fantastic,
Oh.
man. That's
I don't want to be a mic hog.
I feel like I should give this chair back to you. You're the king.
The throne.
Now that Jimmy's back.
Welcome back.
Chopped liver.
Here you go.
How are you guys gonna deal with third person and like peeking around corners?
Just toss it. I'm gonna do that. Sorry, I was just kidding. I want to get in the head with the mic
Don't want
today.
that
My
mic
reaction
pop.
time's wearing down. So the question was, once again, make sure that I got it.
It was how are you gonna deal with third person and peeking around corners?
So the third versus first, like, is something that we're definitely want to approach from an angle of it's a game mechanic, right? I mean, it's something that we are developing for in our game. There's been discussions of whether or not we would have players vote to see if they want certain servers that would only allow first person, or maybe we have another way of dealing with third person. But I mean, we do realize that there are players out there. I mean, me personally, I play first person, like when I play these other games, first person only, with the exception of trying to see why I can't move sometimes and get stuck on something. Third person's useful for that, but you know, crouching or proning behind something and picking up over the top of it is annoying. I've been killed by it 1,000 times, and you know, maybe it's as simple as we have some servers that only do first. We'll see.
Or turn off firing a gun while in third person.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of mechanics there. I mean, honestly, right now, we are going to find a solution the community's going to be happy with when that time comes. For now, we just want to make sure that the third person, first person feel right first and develop that basis, because that is the most important part, is make sure that this game feels right, you know? Sorry, we're doing a little bit of mic passing. I just kind of arbitrarily sat back down.
So you guys mentioned that it's based off of like for the friend system, it's based off the Pinecide 2 stuff. Will that mean there's going to be factions in the game too?
Well, no, I'm just saying we have all that technology at our disposal because the game is built off the same engine.
Is there a possibility for factions in the game?
There's
Any factions there,
Probably-
it would just be whatever the players create themselves.
Right.
But we can support friends and guilds and groups and that sort of thing.
Those systems are all kind of separate, right? So we can bring up the friend system, and it doesn't the like PlanetSide, for instance, the requirement that your friend had to be in the same faction as you was more of a game side requirement. The friend system supports anything, right? The game just makes that decision as to whether or not two people can be friends. So we can do it however we want, right? And yeah, we definitely want to have friend support. I mean, social gameplay is going to be a lot of what's driving people to play this game. Being able to get in and play with your friends and band together and, you know, survive together, essentially. So we're going to have that friend support in there. But as far as factions and guilds and stuff like that, that's going to be more in terms of what the players want to create. There are two factions. There's zombies and players, essentially, right?
and which one's worse? I think the players are worse.
Will there
I keep
be
saying
way
some
worse.
sort of like good guy, bad guy system going on? Or like, yeah, reputation.
he's probably talking about like DayZ mod had the whole humanity thing.
Steve, why don't you let him borrow your mic?
Yeah, can you hear me okay? There we go. Yeah, I have a feeling you're probably talking about like the mod version of like the humanity and bandits and all that fun stuff. That's something we've had a conversation about, and once again, something that could be turned on and off based off server rules. Like that could be completely separate. I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. I don't know if I particularly like it, because what if I want to kill people and not be known? People got to figure that out. I don't know. Some people are like that.
Realism.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Will you be able to put out bounties on people?
That would be cool. However, I mean, like, you're just going to offer up items to him and, like, just an honor system? Like, hey, man, if you find this guy and kill him, I will give you this. Meet me back here at 4 o'clock.
10 packs of sugar.
Even though I kind of like that idea. Never mind. Let's do that.
Games like Infestation Stories have done stuff like that.
Sure. One thing, like, if we did like bounty boards or anything, I feel like that can remove from the player interaction side of things, where it's just like out of sight, out of mind. Like, I put up a bounty, let's see if he kills him, and if he does, I give him whatever. We pretty much want to keep everything between two players face to face. Like, if you want to deal with that sort of thing, you need to talk to the guy to do that. Which I actually love the idea of someone role playing an assassin. Like, that's hilarious. I really like that a lot.
Hey Jimmy, one quick question that's coming in from Twitter. First of all, someone asked me to flash a gang sign, so here's a shotgun.
What?
I don't know, but they want to know if
Wow.
zombies will swim. If the zombies can swim.
I would say they're gonna sink and just walk across the bottom. But, you know, we haven't really discussed that.
I don't know. Yeah, we haven't discussed that really.
Okay, it's icy hot, so tell icy hot. We'll keep.
Icy hot. We don't know yet. We'll have the discussion.
Can players swim?
Icy hot.
Icy hot. Yes, they will be able to. I mean,
we're not focusing on that aspect just yet. We're trying to tune all the other stuff.
yeah.
Want to get all the cool stuff, barricades and all that.
Yeah,
We
when
want swimming, we want fishing,
Yeah.
we want all that stuff.
I was surprised,
yeah.
actually. Like, I mean, fishing would be cool and all. But I mean, like, literally, I've been watching chat all day, like, even while I've been off stream, and the whole fishing thing earlier was actually a pretty big thing in chat. I don't know if they were trolling me. This is the internet, but they seem to be pretty excited about fishing. Any other questions?
I have a few questions. Is there going to be random interactions, like AI interactions, say two zombies interacting with each other if you're peeking around a corner, and it's kind of, you know, comedic in a sense?
We do have a pretty advanced AI system in the game, and it's designed to be scalable. So, you know, that particular situation, I'm not too sure, but them grouping up and traveling in hordes and things like that are totally feasible with the way things are laid out.
And we have been discussing a lot about zombie evolutions. And so zombies can actually feed off of other players, or even if they go to eat like another zombie or deer or wolves, you know, the more they eat, like, they just start getting more powerful, and then they can evolve into a higher tier or stronger zombie. So we actually have that capability to do that. We're just talking about how we want to do it.
What about zombies fighting over meat?
It's fine. You know, it's actually one thing that we hadn't talked about. I mean, right now they will go eat things that are dead. That's really their number one priority. The only reason they want to kill you is to eat, right? I mean, that's just kind of a very primal thing. I don't know, fighting over it. What would that do, I guess? Would they kill each other? Would they push each other around? I don't know.
It's
I
interesting.
think it's just like pushing around like typical zombie,
Yeah.
shoving each other.
Possibility of killing
Sure.
another zombie?
I did see a nice situation on Mitch's computer the other day. He made a meat bomb with a mine in it, and he set it out in the middle of the road, and all these zombies came walking up to it. And as soon as they triggered it, it counted down to like 3 seconds, and it just blew them up, ragdoll style, like 10 zombies. So,
Yeah.
nothing to do with your question, but it's freaking cool.
Sorry, it works.
I know someone mentioned weather earlier, but will there be seasons? Like winter?
We're not talking about seasons.
Yeah, we had a few questions that pop up, but just to reiterate, it depends on what that takes, right? And will seasons add to the gameplay? And if it does, is it something that people are going to want? I mean, once again, for the people out there who want to farm, right? Like, for maybe a guy like me and you who might do that just for food, or have a friend that does that, I don't really care. I'm going to go find food other places. But the people who are really concerned about that winter coming through and destroying their crops, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, that is a very much out there feature, being able to just suddenly snow and affect the entire world in a certain way. We do have rain in right now. Obviously, the day-night cycle, that will affect things in different ways. Cold is definitely a thing. Hot's a thing. But as far as seasons, depends on what that would affect, I guess, in the world.
Do clothes affect your survivability?
We want it to be that way, yes.
We can have San Diego seasons.
Yeah, San Diego seasons are great. It might be 40 or it might be 60. Who knows?
Will there be like mini games that you can play within? Say, 15 players want to go head to head, or 16 players want to go head to head. Half zombies, half humans. Last person standing wins.
I think that kind of plays with our whole idea of we're wanting to poll you guys on what sort of situations you want to play in, and then we're going to do custom server rule sets. That's the ideal situation. So you guys might want to do that zombies versus players in a small environment and be like, okay, we're going to fire up a server that does just exactly that, and you can jump in for the 30-minute session and enjoy yourself. Now, there's still going to be the vanilla worlds, which are going to be constantly running. We're not going to, that's the core game. But there's ways to enjoy it in different aspects.
I was wondering if you guys are going to put any Easter eggs in the game.
You know us, we love Easter eggs.
Actually, I've been asked that a couple of times now, just like wandering around here, and I brought up the whole BFR thing from PlanetSide 2. I mean, realistically, what ends up happening, we don't plan for Easter eggs. There's an artist or a coder somewhere who's like, this would be cool, and come time to review and put the game, it's like, yeah, okay. Like, that just happens. Spur of the moment
that was
thing.
something that I actually put in.
I remember, and I remember...
There's something already in there in the world. There's an Easter egg. You just got to find it.
Yeah. Oh, wait, already?
Course. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. See, this is what I mean. I have no idea. Like...
We do have the eggs that are named after developers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like they'll take somebody's last name and
Make a brand out of it.
with some sort of collectible in the world. It's kind of funny.
Like the axe, shank.
Yeah,
Shank axe. There's what else is there?
Wiz and Hunt ammo.
Doesn't Clegg have a liquor store or something?
That's so... Oh, wow. I was going to say, it's very suitable.
I need to,
And like crashing so many vehicles and crap in our games on stream.
You need a Smokey the Bear Easter egg. Zombie walking around in a bear suit.
Oh my god.
We have talked a little bit about Chatty as a zombie from Free Roams.
Chatty as a zombie?
I know.
I mean, that kind of...
Sorry, Steve was on. He was a producer on
Free
Free
Roams was my
Roams.
game for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe
Sorry,
celebrity
Steve.
zombies.
Celebrity zombie.
yeah. The
Take
Bill
a scene
Murray
out of Dawn of
zombies.
the Dead.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Newer one.
We should make a Smed zombie.
Smed zombie.
That would be epic.
Yeah.
Just run them through the zombie creator.
I'm still all for doing something like whenever a player dies, taking their appearance and throwing it into a queue somewhere, and then the next time we spawn a zombie, grabbing that appearance from the queue. So you're like, I saw that guy yesterday in town. Now he's dead.
And we have talked about reanimating player corpses as zombies with their items and, clothing and everything.
It might be a term I use too much, but there's a couple situations where you run into like loot goblins in a survival game, and that guy just wasn't paying attention, or he had to go AFK and he died to a zombie or whatever, fully geared, and you see the zombie walking around with that AR-15 on its back. He's got a sick backpack. He's got some good camo clothes, and you're like, I want that. You just go kill that zombie and get the stuff. I mean, yeah. It would be also freaky to fight yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, you died and found yourself later. It's like, whoa.
Give me my stuff back.
Yeah.
I want my moonshine.
Leave everything else. Take the liquor.
That's actually a good point. Like, if we end up getting around to, have some stills and moonshine, then, if you're carrying a certain amount of that, zombie's just drunk. I like that idea. It's just kind of
Drunk zombies.
As if they don't stumble.
I was going to say,
well, true.
Drunk zombies walk perfectly straight?
They're essentially just really hungry, cannibalistic humans that are drunk, I guess.
I think they just fall down and roll around on the ground.
We should get some animators in here to consult on what a drunk drunk zombie.
Oh, I know the perfect one. Where's Brad?
Yeah, where's Brad? He'll probably act it out for us.
Yeah, he would. Any other questions?
Yeah, like say a zombie is on fire. Will the clothes burn off slowly over time and expose more flesh underneath, or is it just like the clothes are on fire and then they die?
Currently, that's how it is right now. It's just on fire and they die. However, we have talked about possibly changing it to where they actually do become more of a crisp well done zombie.
I mean, literally, it's a simple shader shift,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Oh yeah, that's simple. Yeah.
you write a shader.
You're a producer. You can't use the
It's
word
copy paste,
It's
man.
extra
I
crispy.
mean, code
Okay.
at some level.
No compiler for you.
You just volunteer.
Hey, there's our guy
There's
to
Brad.
do that.
Hey, Brad, come here a second.
What would a drunk zombie look like?
Come out here and show us.
Drunk zombie?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I need
Oh yeah, that's great.
So the short answer is no currently, but that could be easily done.
All of the
Ignore the
closer.
coders. Don't trust me, they can.
Will you guys, will there be like brush fires? Can you start brush fires if, say, there's like a bunch of grass that was not green or anything like that, and you walk by with your torch and you started a brush fire?
That was like one of the first things Smed said he wanted.
Yeah.
I suspect if we allowed that, though, everybody would just burn everything down.
Some people just want to burn the world.
Right.
Some of the grass though is green, so it wouldn't burn.
Sure. I mean,
tax you
like that would be cool and obviously hyper realistic. I do get concerned with like what are the implications of gameplay. I mean, at that point, then we need to start worrying about how quickly does the grass grow back or does it ever, and then that's something else we need to track on the server and all that. So I mean, a lot of the features we put in, they all have consequences one way or another, whether it's gameplay, performance, and we want to make sure we're prioritizing both. Like catching things on fire is cool. Maybe it's just trees. You could really make someone mad if they built a house in the middle of a forest. They're all happy because they're constantly getting wood and deer and stuff, and you just hate that son of a gun and you go burn down the forest. I mean, like, maybe, who knows? But as far as grass and stuff, gets a little crazy, I think.
Will you be able to mine for like gold or silver or something like that?
I mean, yeah. Right now, I mean, you can mine for logs, right? You can chop down trees, you can get logs. That system exists. And matter of fact, rocks are represented in our world, speed tree, right? In the same respect. So if we want to let you mine rocks and find maybe gold or copper with them, if there's a reason to have it gameplay-wise, which I don't know at the moment, right? But all that technology exists already. That's easy stuff. That's literally a couple lines in the database.
Everything's easy to you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, should know. It's just like,
Yeah.
You're over here fishing and fishing.
I know.
Yeah, mining,
See?
golden guns, platinum everywhere.
Burnt zombies, easy.
I mean, usually the rule on this team, it's been said on Reddit, is if you say it's easy, you just volunteer to implement it. Steve just created a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. Code that for you guys?
No.
I like it.
Your compiler has been rescinded.
All right. If you guys don't mind, just for a second, I think we have a lot of Reddit questions piling up, and we can kind of jump in on a few of these as a team for just a couple minutes, if that's okay with everybody. Let me jump onto old tweets. Once again, guys, the hashtag is H1Z1 design. We're going to use that over chat because chat's hard to read. Oh my God. All right. So this is what I've been asked several times over like the last week and a half is, do we want, or I'm sorry, this is Biffa72. Will there be motorhomes like caravans so you can stay on the move? And I think the question, I can't remember who was on stream with me, then asked like if they want to roleplay as Walter White or something. Like, but I mean, seriously,
Craft
how
some
cool
meth
would that
You
be?
do kind of look like Jesse.
And
There's
I've been
that.
told that I'm a geeky Jesse Pinkman like 3 times in the last week on streams now.
Yeah.
Those lines for us.
I can't. I can't do it. It's not possible.
We just need to get Shank the Hat, and I think that you guys would look perfect together.
Anyway, I mean, the cool
Who doesn't want to cook in a mobile home? Wait, no. I
plenty
mean,
of space
like,
to do it, right?
Meat and stuff.
like cook, like grill out,
Yeah.
hang out with
Yeah.
friends,
Exactly,
be
right.
able to stay on the move. Sure,
Stay
Play
on
some
the
board games.
I'm following you. Once again, the
In your
engineers over
underwear,
here
too. You got to make it.
can make that happen.
In your underwear, making a battery out of lemon juice.
A motorhome is totally possible, right? We've
Yes.
already got our 4-wheel vehicle that holds 4 players. To make another 4-wheel vehicle that holds 8 players.
That really, I think we're safe to say, as long as we have the asset and the code to support it, that's easy. It's changing
Someone
one
write that
number.
down. Steve's going to make a motorhome.
We got a to-do list for Steve here.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
great.
Someone better be gathering all this. Let me jump through here. Will zombies be able to shoot equipped guns? No. Even though, pause for a moment, they don't know what the guns do and they're holding them
shoot
and
at
they're
the
just
ground.
shooting. They're just like wasting all the ammo. Every once in a while, like.
Be a bad idea.
I mean, but that, yeah, probably not. That's not going to happen.
What was that one movie where they kind of got that one zombie flick where they were able to they learn how to use guns.
What?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I can't remember the name. It was a
I think it
popular
was
one.
Day of the Dead.
It was one of the Dawn of the Dead ones.
Yeah.
It's like the second or third one.
That one guy's like,
He's like, ooh, this is cool.
Here's a pretty good one. This is from Anoia22. He says, will there be events like crash sites, loot spawns from crashed helicopters and things like that? So I assume he means more dynamically. I don't know what everyone's thoughts is on this. We've talked about that before where, like, the world's changing because we're talking about the web interface that, earlier today with you. I think we could support that sort of thing.
I think it's feasible because, right now we have the ability to, from a web browser, we can go on a map and just click and drop a zombie in the world. So there's nothing stopping us from going, hey, let's drop an event which has like some loot and a few items at one time.
I mean, and to be honest, once again, our game being free to play, we want it to be about replayability and dynamic content and very sandbox. And if that's something the community ends up wanting, to provide direction and things to do, like airdrops, that sort of thing, be pretty cool. Lenny gave me the eyebrows there. He's like, yeah, airdrops. I am going to have you guys answer some of these. I'm hogging the mic constantly here. You help me out?
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. Can players break their limbs? If so, when they patch it up, will the player run with a limp until it's completely healed? And that is from Listic, Mr. Listic on Twitter.
That one, we should get the animators back out here again. Probably not.
Yeah.
I would say probably not. It's, we have a lot of good ideas, and things like that are definitely good ideas, but they're a lot harder to implement, so the cost to benefit ratio, I think, is a little too high there. But we love all the ideas, and that's a great one.
Well, there's also like the broken limb thing. I don't know how you guys feel about it. We actually watched one of our other staff play. One of the other survival games was stuck with a broken leg for 6 hours, like punching zombies in the kneecaps because like he couldn't get it repaired. And we were just discussing it the whole time, going like, do players like this? I mean, I don't know. Like, I know when I shoot someone in the kneecap and watch them go down, that's hilarious. But as a player who's now stuck there,
I don't think that's far off, actually. You wouldn't be limping around, but you'd move really slow.
Sure.
Once we have that random.
Why'd you get outside from behind that wall? Come on.
I'm making the barricade.
he's working.
I don't think you are making a barricade right now.
You're hiding behind the barricade.
Bleeding and broken legs and all that stuff, it's not far off.
Oh, bleeding and all that stuff's definitely there. But I mean, as far as like broken limbs and being forced to crawl at that point, like that sort of thing. I mean, it just depends on what the implications are.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, that's about it. I mean,
wait,
like,
Paul, we need to see that again.
Which part?
Nothing. Never mind.
I don't know what's going on anymore over there. A lot of these are along the same lines for here on Twitter on the hashtag. But once again, guys, I want to reiterate, we still have about, another 5 hours left. So keep tweeting your questions to hashtag H1Z1 design. Here in about an hour from now, we're going to be jumping over into a little more serious mode, I guess, whereas we jump around between developers and actually talk about what exactly they're working on, some of the issues they've seen, and see what's going on with the animators. On the other side, Kriegs is giving me this devilish look right now. He's like, no, I don't want to talk about it.
What? No, I'm fine.
All right, sure.
Yeah, stop by. We'll talk about performance stuff. It'll be great.
Well, that's the kind of stuff people want to know, man. They want to see what's going on behind the scenes. It'd be great. Fantastic. So yeah, let's do that. Any last questions from the group before we jump out?
In the spirit of Rust, will you be able to take off all of your clothes?
No. No.
Join the Brotherhood of the. No. do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, never mind.
All right.
Yeah.
Never mind on
I
that
think
one.
we better stop there.
Some of you watchers will probably catch that.
Man.
Will there be different levels, zombies, say like a boss or something that you have to fight and get a special drop or something?
We wouldn't go for anything like that. Like, there's not going to be some special encounter, but there may be some zombies that are harder to kill than others because of the way that they act, the speed, and that sort of thing. But realistically, there's no concept of this guy's the uber zombie because he has been empowered with whatever. Like, it's just differences in the way they act mostly.
Yeah, that goes into the whole evolution thing that we were talking about earlier. It's like a zombie could evolve into like something stronger, but he's not like this super boss where it takes 500 bullets to kill this.
It's not like Nemesis from RE, right?
Right.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Also, I was wondering on a little bit of a side note, like if you die, could you be respawn as a zombie for say 15 seconds? Go and kill the person that killed you, and if you kill them, you get a max ammo or health upgrade or something.
I don't think we do that in the type of game we're making. What do you guys think? I mean, really, I feel like that pretty much breaks the immersion.
Yeah. There's a lot of discussion on becoming a zombie. How we approach it is a total separate discussion. We're just probably not at that point to talk about it yet.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be doing anything like that. No, like special bonus rounds or anything like that. Anything else before we jump out, guys?
All right.
Very
Thanks,
cool.
guys.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Sure. Well, what we were just discussing was physics, right? I mean, that was like really the last thing that we were talking about. We wanted to find out if the game. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead. I was asking like what part of physics were we
were just talking about the whole idea of trying to promote not building shantytown in the world. You know, trying to let people build things that are locked together, snap together, and look good, and are very usable within the world.
Yeah. You don't have phallus-shaped buildings everywhere and things like that.
Sure. Well, we'll get some of that, but the idea is to provide you with a system that lets you build logically and it looks aesthetically pleasing, right?
Yeah, cool. Very, very cool. By the way, quick introductions on some of the staff that's here right now. We saw Dave Abram earlier today on stream. He's one of the engineers, and if you just want to let people know what you work on, we'll be seeing a little bit more of you too after 5, I'm sure.
I'm a tools and gameplay programmer. I am currently working on the terrain editor and getting a static decal system into place in the world.
And you did a lot of work with the weapon stuff too prior. Me and this guy work a lot together trying to get the fire mode stuff working. Talked a little about this morning. And of course we got Steve George here. Tony's joined us. I don't know who all else might pop in here. But give you guys a quick update on where we are. After 5 o'clock we're going to be really jumping back into what's going on, what kind of progress we've made throughout the day on a few things. Once again, the feature we picked today was barricading out buildings, and there are a few other things going on with the team. Not everyone, like some of the animators are still working on the wildlife stuff and see how that's going. But
the deer looks phenomenal. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Is it the one in game? I haven't seen the iteration after that. I've seen the one in game. It looks awesome. I saw Paul Carrico crouch and sneak up on it and start punching the crap out of it, which is hilarious. I don't know if we want that to actually happen, but
well,
but for sure. Any questions from you guys, by the way? I mean, any of you? Kind of start us off a little bit?
With that, I saw earlier today the barbed wire that you guys had, like, for the zombies to get mangled in. I was watching a zombie run, like, in and out of the barbed wire, I guess, and it took him forever until he finally died. Are you guys gonna have, like, something that goes along with, like, walking through the barbed wire, like, I don't know, his legs get jacked and he has to crawl, or, like, is there gonna be something that happens, or are you just gonna take damage?
Yeah, one of the cool things I think with the system we have in place from some of our other games that are part of our backbone is we can do all kinds of things with, like, zombies, just with AI in general. We have an ability system in place where we can choose to make him go slower through it while taking damage, causes a bleed on him, do a lot of things. With players, it'll definitely cause a bleed if you walk through something like that and do a little bit of upfront damage to you. But yeah, no, we could definitely do something like that. I think initially we just want to see what it was like to start getting items like that in the game. It's almost white boxing, right?
Yeah, that item is about 8 days old, I think, 8 or 9 days old total. And initially it was very powerful. Like I said in the earlier conversation, it was destroying vehicles. It was brutal. And now I think Paul probably lightened it up a little bit.
Sure.
So that's why you're seeing him probably treading through it.
I think we'll probably go to something like a snare if it's placed on the ground, or something like that. You know, the snare plus damage, or entanglement is what they were calling it earlier.
Oh, were they?
I have no idea. I heard something from someone about that.
We really enjoy just using different words for the same thing.
Right.
Sure.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Anything else? Any of you guys? I know we've been having a conversation before this all started. There you go.
So it's going to start off open sandbox. So, you know, I'm very naive and unexperienced when it comes to sandbox games. So my first question is, you know, when you spawn that initial character, like, what's the randomness that, you know, is going to be brought forth? Is there a random spot on the map? Is there, you know, how likely is it to be an origin? How big is the world actually going to be comparatively to something in real life?
So as far as spawning goes, we're doing a lot of tests right now on how we're going to approach that. And currently right now it's very basic. It just gives you a random location. But we've just got this heat map system online, which allows us to balance, to know where players are and where zombies are. So we can use that data now to better place you at the beginning of, you know, after dying in the world. So that'll come online pretty soon, I would assume.
Yeah, and the great thing about the system is, like, we really do try to push, especially at this stage of development, for things that are just big bang for the buck. And the heat map system involves how zombies are going to react, where they're going to choose to go, and also player spawning. There's a lot of things we can do with that. So actually really excited to see what all fronts that'll affect, Actually, Lenny just ran away. I just saw him here. I don't know where he ran off to. I was going to see what he'd been working on a little bit. But, Nero, you got any questions over there?
Oh, yeah, plenty. Well, actually, there was one thing that we were talking about a little bit earlier on in the conversation about the idea of not just hardware stores and the amount of stuff you'd be able to make with barricades and stuff from those, even using the shelves, but the idea of companies that manufacture very, very, very specific things and having a lot of that one thing around to use as a type of barricade or just a general kind of use item. One thing I was thinking was cable spools. Cable spools are pretty big and they can be used for a lot of things. They can be used to kind of lay out and block off an area. You can have them on the rolly side, or if it's one of the ones that's kind of a lopsided thing, you gotta kind of glue two of them together, but then you've got this giant like battering ram wheel or something. So the idea of using that, or another one that we were thinking was anvils, like the various cartoons and such, where someone walks in a room and then anvil right on their head. Or you've got a makeshift catapult that launches anvils or trebuchet or whatever. So the idea that you've got potentially, and I guess the question is this something that we might be able to see in the game? The idea that maybe once every month or every 3 months, a new company or a new factory or something is introduced and kind of propagated into the world, so that way we have these kind of like regional barricades and equipment.
So, I guess at kind of the core of what you're saying is, outside of the companies, is regionally throughout the world, because we'll be expanding from where we are now. You may see different types of things. Yeah. I would expect that to happen. When you're in the wilderness, you're going to see a lot more of the, I guess, the most basic of survival type things. Like you're going to see a shack, like something like a lean-to and that sort of thing, fairly often. You need to find a way to survive in the wilderness. But if we end up with a more very much like concrete jungle type place, then you might start seeing people barricading up buildings instead, versus trying to build all these lean-tos and tents and things throughout the wilderness. I imagine that would be there. I'm not sure as far as like the companies and stuff goes. There will most likely be more things available as we expand. We did talk about, like, initially it's mostly civilian-based weapons, AR-15s and that sort of thing, and if we have an area that contains a military installation, then you're going to be able to find some of that equipment.
Okay, I can think about all sorts of stuff, just trade related, and the fact that there's zero economy and no auction house, that I can see that can be really awesome, especially going region to region, just trying to be a trader, and of course not getting killed along the way.
You start hiring bodyguards, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, no matter how big and bold you get with your empire, it's still a survival game. It still takes, one shot to the head, 3 shots to the back to kill you?
Yeah, all tunable, but realistically, you get shot in the head, you're going down. Kind of the way it is.
So, one other question I had, now that we're actually talking about gun stuff for a moment here. Magazines is something that I've talked to people a lot about. Are the characters gonna be just kind of throwing their magazines away like in PlanetSide 2, where everything's expendable in nanites? Or is there actually going to be the consideration they have to put the magazine away before they reload the next one? Because, and also like actual bullet count, like you don't have 3 magazines and they're automatically always full if you have enough bullets. So is that the sort of consideration? Because I don't want to call out who specifically said it, but they said we don't want this game to be gun porn, and I totally understand that.
Sure.
But is that the level of minutia that we will actually kind of see in the game there?
We've talked about a few different ways to approach magazines, and actually there's a forum post on our internal forums that I kind of wrote out. I think it was 3 different options on how to handle this, and essentially put out option number 1 I'll make it short, but essentially option 1 was you have magazines. You start off with a magazine, it's just typical, it's whatever. It may start with kind of a random durability. You get lucky when you find the gun, it's in good shape or not. You need to clean it, you need to replace a spring, whatever it happens to be. And you need to fill that magazine before you go into combat. And you could then get multiple magazines. They'll take up inventory space, but you have multiple hot magazines that are going to be loaded up. Option number 2 was simply you have to have a magazine that's attached to the weapon, and that magazine needs to be loaded just between reloads. So it's just simply, it's the magic, right? It's just magic reload. And then the third one was, we don't worry about magazines. It's part of the gun's durability itself. It's all one unit, and you have ammunition in your inventory around your character, and it reloads from that. having a magazine as a container is a difficult thing to do. It really is, like tracking on the server side and everything. And beyond that, it's a pretty tedious thing to do. Some people like the idea of being able to load up 3 magazines and really prepare that. They might not be able to carry as much food because they have so many magazines, but they're just loaded for bear, like they're ready to go. We ended up deciding on the having ammo on your character and just reloading the magazine. You're not going to see like them throw that away. It'll just reload on that. Reload times will be fairly long. They're not going to be snappy like a Counter-Strike or a PlanetSide 2, but it will take a while to reload there.
A good point on it too is currently our ammo. If you find ammo in the world and you pick it up and put it in your inventory, it doesn't automatically load into your gun at that point.
Sure.
You have to consume it first, which means you're kind of like opening up the ammo, I guess, and kind of preparing it to be used in the gun. Then once it's consumed, then your gun's ammo container rises, right?
Yeah,
ammo count rises.
And we've played with a few of those different ideas. I mean, definitely still an iterative process of how that'll end up. We're just seeing how all these different systems feel.
Cool. Now, you brought up a couple things here. There's one last question before I pass the mic that it'd probably be a quick one. In terms of pockets and carrying things, is that something that's going to be kind of built into the crafting system? Like somebody just with basic materials is going to be able to sew on a couple pockets here and there just to carry stuff. Maybe if they've got more advanced equipment, they can actually do something a lot more formal and do like a full utility belt sort of thing.
I would say, if anything, that would be something you'd find in the world that's static as far as what it can hold. Like, it's design decided. So you can't go find a leather belt and then add, like, attachments for ammo or to hold more things. It's pretty much going to be static from that, and just for the sake of simplicity and understanding. Like, otherwise, you end up, what happens when you die, right? Like, suddenly there'll only be a bunch of shirts with 1 million pockets left because everyone decided to add pockets to it. So, I mean, for now anyway, the plan is static amount of slots per item. It's going to be pretty predictable every time you find it. Do you guys have any other questions there?
Yeah, I got one more.
All right.
All right, so I know you guys have like a story for H1Z1. How much is the story going to impact like the gameplay? Like, how involved is that going to be in the player's experience?
It's going to be how we tell the story through the world. Once again, like it's not a I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's not an on rails game, right? So, I mean, Steve?
I think you'll get the initial story. Radar X can probably get more detailed on some of the intro stuff, but you'll get the initial story, and then as we expand the game, I'm sure then we'll probably provide you with more lore as those expansions go outward, I would assume.
Sure.
I can see it happening in that perspective.
This is definitely more of a breadcrumb kind of story. We might do things like a journal here and there, or a graffiti on the wall, or things like that. But I don't think we'll ever like have an NPC tell you, exactly
town
what
crier.
happened.
The end is nigh, just like jumping in the middle of town. Not going to be any of that.
The goal is for you guys to craft your own stories. It's to make it's to give you the tools to create your world. We're providing an environment for you and
a backstory.
And a backstory, and you guys go into the world and you take that even further.
Yeah, every play session we do, I got another cool story, and it's totally different from the last one.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Very, very cool. Any more?
I have a question.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of the questions probably have already been passed through since you guys have had so many groups coming in. But how do you feel about, like, what do you think the impact of, like, skill trees might have on this game? Like, I mean, are we going to see, like, an improvement on a character depending on how much they do something, or?
We've kind of made a conscious effort to stay with the very basic, but at the same time, I guess complex progression. I mean, like, there's a certain type of player that plays these games, and I'm one of those guys. I very much like myself being what decides how good my character is, my decisions versus the skills that I've, trained up. So, I mean, not planned right now. I mean, however, you will need to do certain things to get other things. Like, you need to get logs to get planks that then put something together to maybe build something that allows you to build something else. Like, which essentially ends up being a skill tree per se. I mean, you need to gather these things. It will take time. It's just a much more, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know how to describe it.
It's interesting because literally, for example, the first 5 times you play the game, you die very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And then your personal skill tree grows. You know what I mean? So it's more on you than it is your character
more aware of maybe your surroundings
in
and
game.
thus become like a more apt character.
It's definitely a player-driven knowledge game, as opposed to a character-driven knowledge game, where your character isn't the one who knows things. It's you, the player, that knows.
And you're the persistence, right? I mean, you learn these things, and it's not just about crafting or just about learning the basic systems. It's about learning visual cues. We've talked about it. When we start putting zombies in that may be a little bit faster, act differently, and do different things, we want to make sure there's a visual cue there. And the first time you die to that zombie who just happens to lean a little bit more to the right with his shoulder, and he just walks slower than everyone else, you're like, oh, the guy's going to be slow. What if he just comes at you like faster than you can sprint? Yeah. Well, you're probably going to die. But next time around, you're going to go, I know that now, and I'm going to be able to avoid that son of a gun. I'll be fine.
Sure.
So, yeah.
All right.
And, well, of course, learning things like weapon sounds is going to be huge. I mean, you need to know the difference between what a 1911 sounds like whizzing by versus someone shooting at you with a 308 hunting rifle. Like, there's a pretty big difference in threat level there and distance and all that fun stuff.
So, do you guys expect maybe technological or the level of players' technological that they have at hand, or technology that they have at hand, like a 7.1 headset, would be able to give them the advantage to know, like, oh, okay, well, somebody's shooting me from over there, so I got to get the hell out of here, this way, and do you expect that to be a kind of a big thing, like where sometimes it depends on whether or not they have either a stereo headset or a surround sound headset to kind of get that.
I mean, spatial audio is part of the system, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We want to support the best hardware out there that we can, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's feasible to support. And if it's 7.1, it's 7.1. I mean, personally, I still play with the stereo headset. I have for years, and
yeah, there are a lot of people who still do that. So that's why I was just kind of addressing a concern that might be with some of the players.
Yeah. Buy a 7.1 headset.
Yeah.
We're the Razor guys. But anyway, any other questions before we jump out? Let's do one more here, and then kind of explain where we're heading for the rest of the day. As once again, it is now about 5:12. We'll be live till 9 o'clock, and this is kind of the I guess what we call devathon. It's like we're actually going to jump in and see what's going on with everybody, and check on the build's progress and all that stuff.
So I guess the question is, are you ready to have me yell into the camera here?
Wait, what?
Because I yell in the camera for every game. I've done it for PlanetSide 2. I did it for Landmark. I actually did it for DCUO during one of the panels. That's how I got my first Nugafen hat.
It's his thing.
Okay, I guess I missed it.
Yeah, you are ready.
Yeah.
So only
I can
you guys
verify.
Are you ready?
Can you please not hold the microphone too close?
Sure.
Yeah.
About here?
Way down. Actually, let me just grab that. Yeah. Should I over here? You from over there.
All right. All set?
Sure.
H1Z1!
Clayton just walked off.
What the heck, man?
All right, well, that about wraps up the Q&A portion with the community. Ty, were you able to hear that outside?
What was that?
Were you able to hear that outside?
Yeah, that's why I came in.
Okay, are we still alive? Everyone's good.
She knew that we're moving on to the next part.
That's right, that's right.